honest. Shit just ended right now. It's like 10:30 and shit. But did go back and watch the Boots fight, the highlights for the most part. And I watched the press conference. I kind of chopped that up. I'll talk about the Bud tweet and that stuff in a different video. I might talk about it a little bit on the tail end of this video. But so what I noticed in the fight was, Avanesyan was throwing with him and impressing him when he could. Only real mistake Avanesyan truly actually made was not jabbing. I mean, it's becoming too routine, in my opinion, to see guys walking guys down and not throwing a jab. That irks my nerves. If you coming forward and you can't throw a jab, you only gonna throw no jab, you open yourself up for more danger, bro. The jab is so important. It's the layup of boxing. It's the check down. It's a rhythm punch. But not only is it a rhythm punch, it can be a power punch. It can win a fight. It can change the tempo. You can throw it as a counter. I mean, I think they don't count everything other than a jab as a power punch. I think a jab should be counted as a power punch too. It's everything. So when you walk somebody down and don't throw it, when you walk somebody down and don't throw it, it's never a good look, bro. Unless you an anomaly. Even Isaac Cruz, I know somebody said, well, if Isaac started throwing the jab, it'll change his style. And I agree with that. But you should throw it. Avanesyan should have been throwing it. And that would have gave Boots something else to think about. But a lot of guys don't throw it because they don't throw it correctly. They throw it at the same rhythm. They don't vary it. They don't step into it. They don't pop it. They don't double it. They don't triple it. They don't try to come over the top and counter it. Nothing like that. So they throw a lazy jab and they get countered, so they stop throwing the jab. You seen it with Frank Martin. Javante start countering his jab. So if you throw a jab one way, especially if it ain't to perfection, damn near, you throw it at the same speed and the same rhythm, you got to change it up. Gennady Golovkin, I don't even like that dude. He got so many different jabs. He can rhythm throw it with Jonathan Banks. He could throw it as a true power shot where he's stepping into it and opening it. Man, his jab is one of the most versatile jabs in the game. You know what I'm saying? And he said he may come back and fight or whatever. So when you don't throw that jab, it's gonna be trouble for sure. But yeah, my bad to stop it. But yeah, the jab, when you don't throw the jab, that was his biggest mistake yesterday. And people could say, well, he didn't get his head off the line to move his head. He had a high guard yesterday. Avanesyan, I'm speaking of, if I forgot where I left off at. But yeah, he had a tight guard. He don't have the feet to get off the angles. Like Isaac Cruz kind of got the torso to get and the feet to get off the line. And that's what he shifty. That's what made him so tough for Tank. But kind of when you start looking at Avanesyan, he just right in there with you, and I can see why he gave a lot of the young fighters in Europe problems, because he just walk you down. If he could take your shot, he gonna be a problem. He was punching with Boots, bagging Boots up, and only real mistake I think that he really could have fixed within reason was jab more. But everybody like to throw a lazy. You throw a lazy jab, a great fighter like Boots gonna make you capitalize. They're gonna capitalize on it. You know what I'm saying? So if you throw a lazy jab or you throwing a jab at the same length, at the same speed, that's why you got to change it up. You got to throw it, double it. You know what I'm saying? You got to step into it, come behind it. So you really got to, a lot of guys don't know how to throw the jab the right way. They throw a lazy jab and then they get countered with a good jab, and then they don't want to throw the jab no more. You know what I'm saying? Then they don't want to throw the jab no more because they throwing a lazy jab. So, he caught Boots a couple times. Boots sat in there, and and people say, Boots got touched up a little bit, but I guarantee he get hit with something he don't like. He not gonna get hit like that. But that's how you fight Boots. That's how Gary Anton Russell beat him. Throwing with him, being first, bagging him up. I think a jab is a very key. And bagging him up and throwing with him. That's how you got to do it. Not every fighter got the ability that Avanesyan got to sit in there and throw with a guy. A lot of guys don't have the stomach for that. Danny Garcia was one of the guys that could sit in there in Lion's Den and counter and stick and move and counter and catch and shoot and stuff. So Avanesyan was doing some good work. I just think that if he utilized the jab a little bit more, and maybe worked up and down. I think if you going, one of the ways when you catch and shoot or you throw with a guy, I think if you start throwing with him, doubling up, hook to the body, come upstairs with a hook or with a right hand. I feel like that's what he should have been doing. But Boots is in there, basically doing what he wanted to do. Sitting in there. He said his timing was off a little bit. He thought staying in the gym is the same type of timing you get in a real fight, and it's not. No matter if you felt your sparring partner was better than Avanesyan or not, it's not a real thing. But Avanesyan had a tight guard last night, man, and Boots, used angles, took his time, touched the body, worked up and down, surgically, dispatched, David Avanesyan. I think dropped him with a big right or left hand, dropped him, and pretty much when he went to the corner, I think he had a broken jaw. That was all she wrote. So 4 week notice, I think Avanesyan gave a great account of himself. I thought Boots looked good to lock the rust off. But my thing is, Boots got to be more active. But if you're gonna beat Boots, you're gonna capitalize off his flaws. His inability to cut the ring off versus Cherkachan. His inability to take chances and throw punches. So he gonna throw punches. You got to throw with him. You got to bag him up, out jab him, and that's how you really gonna end up getting him. To be honest, if you gonna beat him, it's gonna take a jab. It's gonna take some aggressiveness. It's gonna take some counter punching, punching with him, and it's gonna take a special fighter to get him. But how he sit in there and he throw punches and he kind of takes some to get some. That's kind of what Shakur Stevenson supposed to be on at the level of opposition that, like how he fighting at 35. Artem, he's a solid fighter, and Shakur Stevenson just in there. Shakur Stevenson in there, just being overly cautious. When you young, you supposed to be a little reckless. That's why I really didn't. Kind of people was talking about Virgil Ortiz getting hit a little bit, and I thought about it. I said, well, he young. He can take the abuse. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of abuse to get yours. That's how a young fighter supposed to fight. Low mileage, willing to, stick it out and thug it out with anybody. And that's kind of how they really supposed to really operate for real. You know what I'm saying? That's how you really supposed to go. And seem like Shakur don't want to get hit at all. And you see Jaron Boots, he willing to get his nose in there. And that's kind of be the difference between younger fighters and these older fighters. These younger fighters, they stick their nose in there, and because they ain't got nothing to lose, and at the same time they fresh. So but nonetheless, man, I thought he did what he's supposed to do. I think the bar for Avanesyan coming in on 4 week notice, because what that people seen Bud do to him, people forget he was hot as fish grease when Bud fought him. So I think a lot of people was like, oh man, he ain't that good, he ain't this, he ain't that, blase this, blase that. But I think he's a hell of a fighter, for a good contender. And I think, maybe Boots could have used the uppercut a little bit more. I mean, he just was in there just trying to get rounds in there, trying to have fun. Speed and ability was on full display. Put around 13 to 14,000 people in Philly came to see him. Really, the only question at this point is he willing to take. It seemed like he could take a punch. Avanesyan can punch, so he got a above average chin. That's what we know right now. Now he get in there and fight a true puncher, then we'll know what type of chin he really got. You know what I'm saying? But he got a way above average chin because Avanesyan can crack. Maybe that wasn't the same Avanesyan that was getting in there with and stopping Josh Kelly and mixing it up with Bud a little bit, but he can crack. That's the power, one of the last things to go, you know what I'm saying? So, we know he can crack, so we know Boots can take a punch, Spaz, and people say, well, he need to move up, he a weight bully. Man, he don't need to do shit. If he can make the weight, he can make the weight. So I don't feel like he need to do a goddamn thing. I hate when people say, well, he need to do this, and he need to do this, and he too big to be doing that. And you just like, man, shut the hell up. If he can make the weight, why are we complaining? That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, continuing on, but like I said before, we'll see where he go. They said he coming back possibly in October. You know, the Crawford questions came up, and Najee from Cigar Talk, I think he misrepresented the tweet. But I'll speak on that. Like, that's how beefs and motherfuckers start beefing in the media, is because when you get secondhand information, you know what I'm saying, and you get information wrong, and you don't understand the tweet. You know, now, you know, he got, you know, them thinking Crawford said one thing, but what Crawford was specifying was he was talking about, I'm pretty sure Eddie Hearn called David Avanesyan a world-class fighter, but when he fought Crawford, he was a bum. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that's what he was saying. I don't even need to look no deeper into it. But, you know, hell of a performance by Jaron Ennis. Hell of a performance by, you know, Avanesyan on 4 weeks on notice. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully his jaw ain't broke. But, you know, Jaron Ennis look like he the real deal. He here to stay. I knew that. But, you know, like I said, there's some tomfoolery in the game, and I'll address that in the next video. So, hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Catch me on Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. All my information is in the link tree. I appreciate y'all for supporting the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Check out the Fire Reaction playlist. Peace.